Hi, today I'm very late for this live and I didn't set up my virtual background, so it's acting weird. But I really wanted to share an update before running into the next meeting. And I'm enjoying this live because I get a little bit of feedback and it also helped me clarifying what I'm thinking. And recently, I had this realization after 3 years and a half, maybe I'm not the faster thinker, that, as part of this LionWeb project, we build amazing stuff. And we built that because, well, you get some of the best language engineering experts. You force them to meet weekly for 3 years and a half, it's a very simple recipe, right? Eventually you get something nice. And this initiative was initially sparkled by a paper by Marcus Walter, the one and only. And then big names joined, people like Jos Varme, Mente Bosman, Nico Stotz, Sasha Lisson, Sergei Kosheyev, more recently Pedro Molina. So, that's interesting stuff going on. And I think, however, there is a problem with experts, that experts, spend 20 or more years, if you have 5 years of experience, sorry, you're not an expert. They spend this amount of time working on a subject and really until they develop some sort of intuition about what is possible, about the potential behind an idea. And so they look at something, they see the potential, it's obvious, and sometimes, not a critic, or well, hopefully they are not listening to this, but I think sometimes the drawback of this is that given something is obvious to you, the expert, you don't do an effort to explain this potential, to visualize this potential for others. And I think this is the case with the LionWeb initiative, that amazing stuff has been built and has been kept very secret. You can see that engineers are not marketers, and maybe we should learn a little bit about that. And so say, okay, so how can I contribute? And so I tried to spend a little bit of time doing UI stuff that visualize this idea and can help, over time to show the potential, show what is possible. And for the first time in this live, I'm going to try to share my screen. And of course, being a live demo, done in a hurry, before running into a meeting, everything is going to crash. But that's the fun of it, right? Otherwise, who would want to see stuff working? So let's see. One thing that I did, for example, is creating this very simple LionWeb repo admin panel, because Jos Varmer built this amazing piece of software, the LionWeb repository, that permits to store LionWeb models and act as a central components for interoperability between different technologies. I mean, I will bother another time with what can be done with LionWeb. Right now, just about visualization. But so Jos Varmer built this amazing repository. And if you understand about modeling, if you understand about language engineering, you see what you can do with that. But otherwise, it's a little bit vague. So I built a small UI, not a designer, in case you had any doubts, but I tried to make small UI and some scripts so you can install the repository in this UI with a single command. And so now you can see repository, you can create a new repository and delete them and so on. Crude stuff, not the stuff that makes engineers dream, I would say. You can see some of this stuff. For example, you can see what is contained in a certain partition. So a model or a tree, call it as you want. Maybe simple stuff like navigation between links into a model, or another model that incidentally is something that I built to demonstrate how we can take AST built through three-seater and convert them to LionWeb so that we can use LionWeb as these, the LionWeb repository in particular, as the central component where we centralize data from different formats and we find a connection between them, react to some of the insertion of some of this data or changes that happen on this data, a lot of stuff. But yes, so first thing, a very simple UI to explore the data that we can put in. So when I say the sentence, oh, you can take a three-seater, an AST built with three-seater, and automatically drop it into a LionWeb repository, you may just take a look at what kind of information end up in this tree. In this case, this is the AST obtained from parsing a PHP file. And in this case, I wanted to use an existing parser because there is a limit to what I can do for money, and building a parser for PHP is beyond that limit. So I just use the one that comes from with three-seater. So simple UI. Again, not amazing. You can download files, you can draw file at it and visualize them. Okay, not revolutionary. And then another things that seems to becoming more popular are Python notebooks. And when I say this kind of things, I feel like I am 5 or 10 years behind, but I'm catching up. So, for example, we can use these to connect to this same repository and get a tree that we can explore. Probably, let me see. Yes, we can explore. And I wanted to indicate that some nodes are leaves, so I use this nice icon. Again, want to make it clear that I'm not a designer. And so you can visualize this tree and get some information out of that. But, it's a Python notebook, so you can also do other things that are a little bit more visual. For example, let's run these things and see if it crashed. It didn't. That's magic. You see, I'm calling a certain API to get information about the different nodes present in this repository by type and showing a plot. Again, not the most exciting things, perhaps, but I think that is through this kind of simple UI, by putting, a few hours in building some function that are useful to be used in a Python notebook, we can put the basis to better communicate what we are building. And, as an engineer, this is in a sense a distraction. I like to build things. I know what I'm building. If the rest of the world doesn't see it, it's their problem. Who cares? And so I'm fighting my nature and trying to see, in a project where there are so many smart people, how can I contribute by building boring things that, can help see the value of what this group has built. And so this is the sense of spending a few days on this visualization. And I know it's disappointing that the demo didn't crash, but I promise sooner or later I will make a demo that will crash horribly. So it's time for me to run into the meeting. Thank you very much. And as always, if you have feedback, if you have ideas that you want to share, just reach out in the comments, throw me a message on LinkedIn, YouTube, an email, or whatever. Thank you. Have a great day.